Our early childhood, the time from pregnancy to the age of 5, fundamentally shapes the rest of our lives. But as a society, we currently spend much more of our time and energy on later life. Today, the Royal Foundation Centre for Early Childhood is launching a new campaign, Shaping Us, to raise awareness of the life-changing impact we can have when we build a supportive, nurturing world around children and those who care for them. Because by focusing our collective time, energy and resources on these most preventative years, we can make a huge difference to the physical and mental health and happiness of generations to come.
I think that what she's been doing with this task force for the under fives is fantastic. And yes, very good news that she has been briefed about the progress of this and taking an interest in it. I imagine she probably has been briefed about quite a lot of things, actually. And I think in some ways it's a shame that we haven't been, told a little bit more about that because, even though we don't see her out in public, days are long, and I'm sure she has time to keep up with all sorts of different things. I think that this enterprise that she's done is one of those classically wonderful things that members of the royal family can do, which, however much people try to say it's political, it isn't political at all. It's just good common sense. And by investing in the under fives and getting them, and giving them great opportunities and understanding them better and so forth, and all the things which are no doubt in this wonderful report, just makes absolute sense. And the fact that businesses are putting their names to it and indeed their money is also very encouraging. Whereas one can't predict exactly the effect it's going to have, it has to be good and positive. And that's exactly what members of the royal family are so very good at doing, highlighting these things and getting them moving and getting attention for them and indeed raising the necessary funds. So I think it's highly commendable. And if people try to say that there's something political in it, I don't see that at all. I think it's just all for the common good and makes really good sense. And it's wonderful that she's behind it. And I'm sure also, it'd probably be a great boost to her because she hasn't had a very good time to know that it's being so effective because, we all want to be useful in life and she is extremely useful. I think that Princess of Wales would not wish to take credit for herself at all. She is really, I'm sure she would see herself as the catalyst because she would know that by using her name and by using her influence, she can inspire these funds to come and for the support from these businesses. And these businesses don't support charities unless they think they're very well run and that they're a very good, that they've got good prospects. So no, she wouldn't want to take credit for that. But it's nice to have some very positive news about her because I think we've all been quite worried about her, particularly since she came on the television before Easter and made those statements about her health. And we wish her well and hope that, it won't be too long before we see her out and about again. Prince William must have a lot of cares on his shoulders at the moment. I mean, his father is unwell. The problem always of being Prince of Wales is that, you are a heartbeat away from the throne. And then if your wife is ill and you have small children, and then you have all the other things that they have to think about that people like me don't have to think about, the politics and the, global situations and all sorts of things that members of the royal family do have to consider. To do, if he became king, he'd be very involved with politics and possible change of government and all those sort of things. So there's a lot on his shoulders. But I've always thought he gets it absolutely right, the balance between his royal duties and also his responsibilities as a husband and father. And in the modern way, the modern father does take a much more close interest in his children at that formative age, which of course, let's face it, is not terribly far away from what Catherine has been doing with her under fives. I mean, the children are older than that now, but they are still very young. And from the very moment that Prince George was born, and Prince William popped him into the baby carriage and strapped him in with great efficiency and drove off himself. I mean, when he was picked up from the hospital, his father was wearing a tie and there was a chauffeur to drive them home. So, you know, things move on. So, yes, I give him full credit for all that he's doing. And I just hope that, you know, he's not having too much of a pressurized time. I'm sure the pressure is very, very heavy on him. They're brilliant parents, and I think the three children, you know, whenever they appear, I mean, we're delighted to see them, and we haven't seen very much of them recently because obviously the fact that, you know, Prince William and Catherine didn't come to Easter service meant that they didn't come with them. So we haven't seen much of them. I'm sure they will be at the Trooping the Colour in June, but I don't think we can expect too much of Catherine herself, because I think that, as is, I hope now, very well understood, she must be given as much time as she needs to get fully well again, and that doesn't involve the public appearances like that. So I think that the Prince's office has said this is not an indication of, you know, her full return to public duties or anything like that. Far from it. But it's all a good sign.
The members of the task force have met together on a monthly basis over the course of the last year or so, and we came together and quite quickly determined that what we really needed to kind of kickstart this and get wider buy-in was a really compelling case for change as to why business should care about early childhood. So the work that we've been involved in over the last year has been very much focused around developing the paper that we are releasing today, and getting that narrative out there, as well as also starting to think about what we as individual organisations can do to shift our focus onto early childhood. What we set out in the paper is the opportunity for greater value add to the wider UK economy through a couple of key areas. So the first one is very much around investing in social and emotional skills for the under fives. So starting at a very young age to develop some of those softer skills, as we'd call them, around resilience and problem solving and empathy. If we were able to really kind of get to the core of some of those, we could see a productivity gain of about 12.1 billion over the course of a kind of generation. And then we also look at the opportunity to encourage parents and caregivers to get back into the workforce if they had access to more suitable childcare opportunities, and that figure comes in at around 17 billion. And then finally we look at the public expenditure currently around mitigating adverse childhood experiences, so children that suffer from neglect and abuse. And if we were able to reduce some of that, it comes into around £16 billion. So the three figures total together equates to a 45.5 net gain for the UK economy. This is not a paper that is intended to be exclusive to just big business. We really wanted this to be applicable to businesses of all sizes. So as a result, we've established this framework of these sort of 5 game-changing areas, areas where businesses can really have an impact. And the 5 of them, they quite simply are transforming the culture, so starting to have a conversation about early childhood. It's about securing the necessities and making sure that parents have access to basic essentials that they need for their children. It's prioritising and nurturing those social and emotional skills that are so important in early childhood. It's supporting parents and caregivers with choice and flexibility to work in the way that they want to work. And it's also looking at improving access to quality and reliable early education and care. And if businesses can look across all 5 of those areas, there are things that people could do, even at a small level, that will really start to shift the dial.